Hey everyone, I'm Henry Gordon Smith from AGRITECTURE, and I'm here for one of my exciting interviews about the present and future of agriculture. And we are here in central Mexico, in Bajío, visiting Grupo Biotech. And I came to speak to two young, innovative individuals who have taken over this business and to learn more about what it's like to take over a large 10-hectare greenhouse and bring innovation into that and all the challenges that they face. So I'm here with Aline and Theo. How are you both doing?
Great.
Thank you for coming by.
It's so cool to be here. I got to have an amazing tour of your facilities. So maybe just, Theo, give us an introduction. What does Grupo Biotech do? What makes you unique? What do you grow? And what kind of scale we're looking at here?
Okay, perfect. So we are existing for nearly 20 years. We are the second generation. We are organic growers of tomatoes, different varieties, TOV, cherry tomatoes, and cucumbers. So European cucumber, Persian cucumber. We pack everything here as well and send it directly to our customers, which are mainly in the US.
Amazing. And Aline, you're from the family, right? This is your dad's original business and your mom works on it too. But you didn't sort of imagine yourself working in this, right? Can you tell us a bit about your story and what you studied and,
Yeah, so I'm actually an architect. I study architecture, then I made my master also in architecture. And then sort of I came here to kind of give back to what this company has given to me, and I just fell in love with how challenging it is, all the challenges that it brings, all the good things that come with it, and I've just sort of fallen in love with the industry without being on it.
I mean, that's one of my favorite parts of this story is there's so many family farms all around the world. The parents are getting older and they want their kids to be successful. So your parents, they sent you out to get this degree in architecture, to learn something new. And yet you felt a connection to come back, and in the end, someone has to run this business. So I think that's just a really beautiful story that connects to what's happening with the challenges in the food system overall. So Theo, how did you and Aline meet, and how did you end up here?
It was quite funny. So we both did an exchange semester in Denmark after COVID, and we were neighbors. So actually we became friends and got to know each other over the whole semester. And then at the end of the semester, we decided, hey, why not try it out? Germany, Mexico is very close to each other. So, and then we moved both to Germany. Aline did her master's, and then her parents approached us and were like, hey, do you want to take over the company, try it out? And we were like, hey, we are young, we can learn Spanish, or I can learn Spanish super fast, and I'm a mechanical engineer. I don't have any clue about plants, or I had it not before. But why not trying it out? And now we are here, learning a lot, super interesting.
So a mechanical engineer and architect fall in love and take over a greenhouse in Mexico. I mean, what a story. Okay, so, I think that's really another part of this that I want to share is each of you actually don't have, you grew up on the farm a bit, right? But you don't have agricultural experience necessarily. So what are each of you doing on a day-by-day basis? Maybe start with you, Aline. What's your responsibility in the business? What do you do?
So it's kind of hard to say because I'm a bit all over the place. So I first started in the audits, and I started going 1 month to each area to understand how it works, what was the important task to take over, and then learning the procedures of each area. I learned a lot about, I think they say that in the career you learn, but in the field you learn much more. And I think I took another career of agriculture and and I was in the audit part, I was in the packing house, I was also in the field here. So I think my day-to-day looks quite different every day, and especially in this industry. Something comes up and I have to go and help them solve. Sometimes I'm fixing paperwork, sometimes I'm helping with logistics, sometimes I'm helping on the sales to my dad. So
definitely not boring.
Definitely not boring.
I mean, like you said, when we were doing the tour, you work with people and plants, the most complicated things, so it's always changing. And Theo, mechanical engineering, what are you doing here? What are some of the problems you identified when you first sort of visited the greenhouse and started taking over about 2 years ago, right? And what are you doing to sort of engineer and optimize this facility?
Yes, of course. So in the end, I'm responsible for the technological development of the whole company. And I'm always trying to bring innovation to the company, which doesn't necessarily mean to buy fancy machines, but also maybe think out of the box, use materials we have here for free and build new machines out of nothing. Or for example, we already looked at the sensor network, my IoT smart greenhouse solutions. And for me, it's very important to make those solutions also accessible for low-tech, mid-tech greenhouses, and not only fancy solutions which are super expensive for high-tech greenhouses. And I basically walk around here in the greenhouses every day, and if I see a process or a solution which can be automated, which can be perfectionized, I'm sitting down thinking about how we can solve it, and then hopefully we soon have a solution for that.
I think that's just so exciting and interesting, right? Because your greenhouse facility here is representative of a large volume of facilities that are producing most of the fruits and vegetables that are going to the US market. And they're facing a number of challenges, and you can't just throw tech at that. So I really like that you're bringing your mechanical engineering, sort of piloting tech. Even here on this rooftop, you're piloting dehydration. I got to see one of your sort of misting robots that you're doing. I got to see your sensor tech and your lower round. I mean, it's just so cool that you're bringing that to the sector where you can't really just buy your way out of these problems. You have to sometimes engineer and invent your way out of these problems. Now, Aline, I want to ask you a little bit about just the context before we wrap things up here in a moment. You know, like I said, this is where there's so many greenhouses. Can you tell us a bit more about the problems that most greenhouses in central Mexico are facing right now? What are the top issues?
Yeah. First, I will say for us it's been challenging the availability of work or human resources to have enough availability of people that come and work here.
Talent
That comes here. Then I'll say also just having the climate conditions and all the things that make it hard for all greenhouses in general. But for us, a different pest and environment, and we're organic, so it makes it a bit more challenging on top. And yeah, then I'll say just the market itself, you know how changing it is.
Right, tariffs or different consumer needs, etc. Wow, I mean, that is definitely a lot. So, I mean, I'm so grateful for your time showing me around. I have one last question to both of you. We'll start with you, Theo.
Okay.
What is your advice to young people that are kind of like curious and excited about the future of agriculture, but haven't quite taken that leap to get involved?
I think it is not necessarily important that you have a background in this field. I also didn't have it, but this field is one of the most important all around the world. We need vegetables, we need food, and maybe on the news it's maybe not the most exciting field, like tech startups are more interesting in generally, but this topic is so much more important for all around the world, and you can learn and adapt so fast. So in the end, look, we are engineer and architect, and now we're doing greenhouses. I think 5 years ago I've never had thought that I live in Mexico and do that, and it's amazing. It's never too late to learn and to adapt, and this is definitely a field which never gets old or unnecessary.
What about you, Aline?
Yeah, I completely agree. Like adapting, I also had a bit of questions at the beginning. Oh, I'm an architect, how am I going to manage? But I've learned so much, and this industry is so interesting. We have a small lab. I love to test and learn new things. I love to learn from the people and the talent that surround us. And I just think it's a changing environment, but it's a need that we always need to use, and climatical and environmental and sustainability and innovation. So it just makes it more challenging on top, and it's definitely worth to dive in if you're interested or have some interest on it.
I mean, I can't agree more myself, right? Because I didn't come up from a farm either. I didn't exist in it. And, you know, just like all of you, I had to get hands-on experience, learn the realities of being in the farm and working on it, and find my own way to make an impact. So I think that's just so cool and inspiring. I want to thank Theo and Aline for showing me around. This is Grupo Biotech, a leading and one of the first organic producers here in central Mexico. Definitely check them out and be inspired to be a part of this solution. Thanks so much for following. Hasta luego.